Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our nursing session. My name is Danielle. I'm in the marketing department at BCC, and I've had the pleasure of working with the nursing area for about 7 years. So really excited to talk to everybody and get going here. So I just want to let you know that the session is being recorded. If you are deaf or hard of hearing and you need a sign language interpreter, please let us know, and we can pin one into the viewer for you. We respectfully acknowledge that Vancouver Community College is located on the traditional and unceded territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh Nations. This session is an opportunity for you to get to know our nursing programs and to learn about the school. So let's get started. We have representatives from 2 nursing areas who will speak about their programs for a few minutes each. There's an advisor on hand if you have any general questions. So first up, we're going to be talking about our practical nursing programs. So that includes an Access, which is an advanced entry program, and our practical nursing full program. Janita is our representative from the program, so I'm going to let her go ahead and take the show on.
All right, welcome everybody. Welcome everybody to Experience VCC. I'm Janita Shepard. I'm the department leader for both the Access to Practical Nursing as well as the generic practical nursing program. I welcome all of you. Just to let you know, our Access to PN program, which is 13 months long, we have 1 intake a year. And so at this time right now, we are accepting applications for the September start, which starts the first week of September. And that's for the Access to Practical Nursing. That program is 13 months long, and it consists of our Access term, which is an amalgamation of levels 1 and 2. And then we move on to 3 and 4, which are the same as our generic program. And so what is unique about our Access to Practical Nursing, making it the 13 months, is we do give credit for those students that do carry an HCA certificate and do come with a minimum of 600 hours of work experience working as a healthcare assistant in a group setting environment where they're taking care of multiple clients, so thereby demonstrating time management, organization, and prioritization. So having that experience under your belt does give you a little bit of credit towards this program admission requirements. That's the only difference of our admission requirements for the 2 programs. Again, I saw that Domingo's on as well, who is from advising. He works quite closely with our department in talking to students about their admission requirements and getting them ready to apply for a program. And again, our programs are first come, first serve. As far as the wait list, we do have a bit of a wait list, so it is about a year. However, that being said, if you don't apply, you don't know if you're going to get in, because often last minute students will decide not to partake, even though they have been accepted and received that seat offer for various reasons. So it's really important to get those prereqs done and apply for either the Access or the practical nursing. And again, the Access, we're accepting applications as of right now for that September intake. Moving on to our generic program, we do have 2 intakes a year, an intake of 42 students in January, as well as another intake of 42 students in September. So we will be, seat offers will be going out to those applicants that have applied for September. And again, if you have not done so, please do get those prereqs in and apply as soon as you can so you get on that list. Our generic program is 16 months long. It is separated into 4 different levels, and thus making it 16 months long. We do have a provincial curriculum for both programs that we follow, and it's a BC provincial curriculum. We are regulated through our regulatory body, the BC College of Nurses and Midwives. We do, at the end of our program, we do have students that, after successfully completing that program, do meet the entry level competencies for being a safe, licensed practical nurse practitioner, and you are able to work there. Some really kudos to our program is that 90% of our graduates have been able to secure jobs within 6 months of finishing the program and within a year of getting full-time work. So we have a very good reputation, our grads, as well as a very good reputation with our scores in our licensing exam, which is taken at the end of the program. Now, I'm sure you have lots of questions. I do also run monthly info sessions that are in this online Zoom environment, if ever you do want to jump in to get more information. Okay, so that's my spiel.
That's great. Thanks so much, Janita. If anybody has questions, you can pop them into the Q&A box and we will get to them at the end of the session. So next up, we have Sarah, who's representing our Bachelor in Science. So here we go.
Hi, everybody. I want to introduce myself. My name is Sarah Desbiens, and I'm the department head for the Bachelor of Science in Nursing. So yeah, I guess I'll just give you a little bit of a spiel and then we'll open it up to a question and answer period. So yeah, I guess I can introduce nursing, which, you know, I'm sure you all know it's been highlighted so much over the years and specifically, you know, around the pandemic, just the important role of nurses. So it's just a dynamic and exciting career that can keep you local or you know, send you to international job opportunities. The VCC program is quite an excellent program. Some of the specifics around the VCC delivery of the BSN program is that we actually focus on sort of a more intimate setting. So our class sizes are, I think, the smallest available in the Lower Mainland program. So we limit our intake to 24 students per cohort. We have high fidelity labs, which is pretty exciting. So we do offer lots of clinical experience out in the field. So acute care, hospital settings, community settings, maternity, pediatrics, mental health. But we also supplement those kind of real life experiences with high fidelity. So mannequins that can sweat, that can give birth, that can, you know, look like they're running through some kind of a, you know, disease process. Another piece of our program is that it runs under a condensed timeline. So we have two cohorts. So we have what's called an advanced entry. So this would be somebody who might have gone through Danita's program, for example. So you've been an LPN, you've done a certain number of hours as an LPN, and then you can move into the BSN program. So what that looks like is that you would start in what's called a bridge-in program, and it lasts 5 months, and there we do acute care, maternity, pediatrics, and then you officially start into our 5th term, which is mental health, and you complete your BSN in 18 months. The other entry opportunity is what's called the generic. So this is somebody that doesn't have a nursing background, and here you start in our term 1 and you run all the way to term 8. So this is over a 3-year period of time. So for both of those cohorts, you end up with your Bachelor's of Science in Nursing. Just thinking about some of the comments that Janita made kind of spurred me to make some notes. We are a CASN accredited program. So CASN stands for the Canadian Association of Schools of Nursing. And so we're actually going through a review of that this year. So it just means that we ensure that our curriculum is current and that we're delivering high quality programming. I actually don't have the specific rate for the very last group that wrote the NCLEX or the licensing exam, but we do have an extremely high pass rate for our graduates, which is wonderful. And we have a 100% higher rate. So once you complete our program, there's a lot of work out there and we've got quite a good reputation. What else can I speak of? I mean, I do love the program. I love nursing as a career. You know, I still work on the front line personally as a labor nurse, and I still teach. I'm in the classroom, and then more recently, I got to take on this leadership role, which is all exciting. So yeah, that's it. That's nursing. That's our program. We'll open it up to you guys. Thank you.
So we, like Janita mentioned, we do have some info sessions coming up. The next ones for practical nursing is on May 12th. So that's a longer, more in-depth session. So you can really get into the nitty-gritty on the programs. Let's jump into some Q&As. So if anybody has any questions, you can feel free to put them in the Q&A box or into the chat.
I see a question about a transfer student. I could answer that if you like.
Sure, that'd be great.
Yeah, so I'm just seeing from Michelle. So do you take transfer students for BSN? So the big thing is that I actually wish that all the nursing programs delivered the terms exactly the same across the years. They don't necessarily. So for BSN transfer, the best bet is actually to send an email to, oh gosh, maybe one of you guys can help me. I think it's transfercredit@bcc.ca. And so your best bet is to do that. And then they can let you know what courses we can give you credit for and where that might place you in our program.
Can I add on that one too? The transfer credit process is a bit challenging. So I recommend that if you want to transfer over to VCC, for example, I suggest that you connect with the academic advisor to guide you, just to give you a background of what you're going to be facing with if you're going to be transferring over. Like when you transfer over to VCC from another institution, for example, obviously you still need to meet our program requirements, right? So it's not going to be like seamlessly transfer over, because you do understand that we do have program requirements. So I suggest that you book an appointment and speak to an academic advisor, and then we will be able to guide you moving forward.
Great, thanks, Domingo. We have a question here, wondering how long the wait list is for the bridging program.
Okay, I will be able to answer that question. There is no wait list to the bridging program, just so you know, because it's a competitive program right now. In the past, when the program was not competitive, obviously there was a wait list, but we don't have the wait list anymore. So in other words, you will have to come into the program competitively. So we're going to look at your GPA based on 18 university transfer credits, as well as your score on the Casper test. And more of these, we can talk about this with you when you book an appointment with an academic advisor. So again, just want to reiterate that there's no wait list, because it's already competitive. So even for the year one, for example, there's no wait list there, just because it's competitive. So you're competing for a seat, just so you know.
What's the intake period for that then, if somebody was looking for September?
Good question. For our one program starts January, the other program I believe is September. That's for the I think it's the advanced, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and I can speak to that. So for the advanced entry.
Oh, it's going to be January. Sorry.
Yeah, so for the advanced entry, the official program starts in January, but actually the bridge-in term is in August. So advanced entry applicants would need to prepare to begin school in August, and the generic entry would be for September.
Good one, Sarah. Sorry, I missed that.
No, that's okay. And then I also see someone says, what's the latest competitive GPA for the BSN? So yeah, I could speak to that as well. So the way the admissions process works for the BSN program is it's a combination of looking at your GPA and something called the Casper test. And so we actually weight those equally. So you have to meet the minimum requirements, which tends to be a C+ in all of your admission requirements. But beyond that, we don't only look at the GPA. So some schools of nursing will just take the top 30 applicants. Ours actually tends to weight the GPA with the Casper. So I actually can't answer that one cleanly.
Thanks, Sarah. Well, I can just move on to a few of our next slides here. So we did talk about advising as being a really great option to have all these very specific questions offered. So you can make an appointment, or we actually have a drop-in session over the next 2 days. I think it's 9:30 to 4.
Just so you know, when you're applying to any of the programs, LPN, BSN Year 1, the Advanced Entry, I want you to look at the web page, just specifically for the BSN Year 1 and the Advanced Entry, because there are pertinent dates that you really need to be aware of. You know, like there's a deadline to apply for those programs, and you know there are dates where you need to submit your transcripts. You know, there's a date where you need to submit your Casper test result. So again, please be aware that when I say read the web page, you have to read the whole page, especially down the web page, because there's where you can see all the pertinent dates that you really need to be aware of.
I think that probably goes for another question that came in about tuition cost. I think the website is your
Yeah,
best place to see that all broken down. Yeah, every line item's in there. Yeah.
Exactly. So those questions, sometimes we get questions like how much is the tuition fee? Well, you know, you don't need to book an appointment to know that, right? Because that information is available on the web page. But just so you know, those are, you know, subject to change. I believe there's a clause on our web page about that. But if there's going to be change, it's not going to be like really like huge amount of just so you know. But again, the web page has all those information available for you.
There's also links, I think, for you can find out textbook costs and everything as well, so you can really find out the entire investment that you're going to be making. So oh, we had another question come up. Is the BSCN intake only in September? Is the chance in the future will be opening more due to high demand?
Hi, Rand. Yeah, great question. We would love to bring in more students and meet the needs out there of nursing. At this point, no. You know, we just have to look at the capacity of the college and of our faculty. Could it open up more seats in a couple of years? You know, fingers crossed.
These are great questions. Thank you.
Yeah, I suggest that you. I think we had a question earlier on about that, because there's a pronouncement by MLA Dex regarding, you know, opening more nurses in BC. So I suggest that, you know, keep on checking our web page. That's the only thing I can say right now.
Here's a little rundown of the other services that we offer. We've obviously covered advising quite a bit, but especially for these programs, there's definitely financial aid. We have Indigenous entry and support here. I'm not sure if anybody wants to speak about the Indigenous seats we have for health programs.
I believe we offer 2 seats for Indigenous students. However, you still need to compete. Like, for example, if there's another Indigenous student wanting to get into the program, although we have 2 seats available for you, you still need to meet our program requirements.
If I can add to that, we actually opened it up. So we actually have unlimited number of seats that are open to Indigenous applicants, and Indigenous Student Services really encourages applicants to connect with them early in your application process, because there can be a lot of support out there for you to get support even in completing your prerequisites, for example, or some of the other admissions criteria. So yeah, if you are an Indigenous student wanting to come into nursing, please connect with myself and with the VCC Indigenous Student Services early in your admissions process to get the support.
Yeah, I'm gonna put the name of the Indigenous advisor who can assist you. Her name is Tony Gladstone. I'm gonna put this in the chat box as well, where you can reach her via email. There you go. Thank you, Sarah.
We also have some Indigenous drop-in too, so they are available to chat as well throughout the next couple of days. But yeah, wealth of knowledge there. We also have disability services, counseling services, and free professional tutoring. Again, if you go to vcc.ca services, you'll find a wealth of information about these as well. So next steps, we did talk about info sessions. So Practical Nursing has one if you want to really get in-depth information. We talked about advising. And then once you're ready to apply, you can apply online.
Yeah, I just wanna repeat what Janita mentioned about admission to the LPN program. There is such a thing as a standby list, and a standby list is if you already have met all the program requirements and you see on your application status that says waitlisted, that means you're just waiting for the acceptance letter. Now, in other words, I just want to piggyback what Janita mentioned because there's not a lot of people, even though they receive the acceptance letter, they may change their mind, right? So what's going to happen to their seat? Obviously, it's going to be offered to somebody else. Now, if that's the case, then you can actually email our registrar's office, and I'm going to provide you the email address later. You can request them to put you on a standby list. In that situation where suddenly we have seat availability like 3 days before the program starts, we may call you and say, hey, there's a seat available for you, would you like to take it? And we're going to go through our standby list. Just make sure though that when we call you, you have the ready money to pay, because again, it's obviously you have to pay before the program, before you start but before you start the program. So the amount, it's going to be obviously we will tell you how much you're going to be paying. So we're not going to be surprised here, just so you know. And we send out acceptance letter I believe 3 months before program starts. The reason why we're giving you 3 months is because we want to make sure that you're ready, especially if you're, say for example, moving from the islands to Vancouver. That 3 months would give you enough time to search for a place, or your student loan, for example, because it takes a while. I believe a student loan would take you about 6 to 12 weeks before you get that loan. Let me caution you, do not apply for student loans, not until you receive the acceptance letter, because obviously there's a code that you need to provide when you apply for student loan.
Thanks, Domingo. I've got a couple questions that have come in.
Sure.
We do know that there had been some online programming throughout COVID. What's the outlook look like that for fall and beyond? Will there still be hybrid classes?
In the BSN program, we are shifting ourselves back to being on campus. Our labs, clinical, even throughout the pandemic, actually stayed in person, and we, just took all the COVID precautions. Most of our theory courses this term continue to be offered online. Anyhow, like I said, we're shifting to having it probably 90% on campus delivery.
What about in practical nursing?
Okay, well, in practical nursing, we were online for our theory classes, and our labs were face-to-face. However, beginning with the May cohort now, we are coming back in more of a blended model. So 50% of the theory classes will be back into the classroom. Half of them will remain online. And with the labs and the lab theory all in person as well, in addition to obviously all the clinicals. So we are making that transition starting in May, and then we'll carry on throughout the year.
That's great. What about vaccinations? Is COVID a requirement for your programs?
Yes, it is in our program.
Yeah, same as the PN. The booster, however, is not for both programs. We are recording the first 2 vaccinations and ensuring that that's part of our requirements.
I guess, what does a typical week look like for a student? Are they in Monday to Friday? Is it a mix week by week in terms of theory and lab? Is there an average week?
Okay, maybe I can start there, Sarah. In the practical nursing, I would say students would come into lab and the theory for lab twice a week. And the rest of the week would be delivered in a blended fashion, so online, and some sessions that are in person. For the most part, if you're coming in person, then you'd be followed by that afternoon with another class that's in person, so you're not sort of having to commute and make that shift. A lot of questions that we normally get, that I get for the PN program, is that, it is a full-time program, so it does require a full-time work. So it is very difficult to work in addition to going to school. However, we have had students, pick up the odd shift here or there on the weekends. However, I would have to say that it is a Monday to Friday schedule from 8 in the morning to 3:30. It's quite demanding.
I would say the same
Mhm.
as Janita. So
Yeah.
definitely, a nursing program is condensed, ours are condensed. So it's Monday to Friday, full days, and then there's homework, of course, or assignments that need to be completed. And I would throw it out there that sometimes the clinical placements are difficult to get within the week. So it's not unusual that we might have to have a clinical that runs on a Saturday or Sunday as well. So just something for people to consider.
I have a lot of questions like that when students come and see me and say, like, will I be able to work as an LPN while I'm doing my RN? And no, because it's an intense program. And same thing with the access to LPN, right? From HCA to access. So they think that they can do. And I've had instances where students come back and they cry because they were not successful. So just want to make sure, just the caveat here is these are full-time programs and they're intense programs, and please just focus on your studies. I know it's tough.
You mentioned work practicum. What sort of practicums could they experience, like location or places they might go to complete their practicums?
With the PN program, it is sort of an expectation that the hospitals all across the Lower Mainland, so in all the different health regions, are all areas in which you can complete either of the practicums. We do have complex care and intermediate care for our first two levels. Our third level of our program is community-based. So at this time, within the PN scope of practice, although you are able to take care of laboring moms and take care of pediatric clients, we don't have any clinical placements at this time in practical nursing. However, our third term all is situated around nonprofit organizations across the Lower Mainland as well as the downtown east side to work with addictions and mental health clients. And then the fourth term is all acute care hospitals, so all the health regions that we have, and they can extend all the way out to White Rock, so Peace Arch Hospital.
Yeah, and I would say the BSN program follows similarly to the LPN. So ours is over 8 terms, and in each term we have some kind of a clinical or preceptorship or practicum that students engage in. So yeah, everything from sort of subacute to an acute setting to community, pediatrics, mental health, maternity. And because we're a Lower Mainland school, the placements are in the Lower Mainland.
So there's a question regarding like when the applications for the BSN September 2023 set to open and close. Well, when you apply online, as I said, it's really imperative that you look at the on the web page, because there are pertinent dates that you need to be aware of. And just so you know, when you apply online, it will actually bring you to the BC Ed Planner, and it will give you that possible dates where you can apply. So if you're not seeing that when you go through the BC Ed Planner, that means we haven't opened it yet. Does VCC offer registered psychiatric nursing program as well? No, no. I suggest that you look in another school, that is Douglas College. They do have psychiatric nursing.
That's all of our questions. I want to thank everybody for being part of our session today, and hopefully we'll see you at an info session or on campus really soon.